Hey you guys, today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin as an ecosystem, and I wanted to bring this up because it gets really technical, and I feel like you guys should know everything there is to know about Bitcoin to know everything that there is about Bitcoin, if that makes sense. But let's go ahead and get started. But before I forget, welcome back to Getting Digital with Deja. So you guys, Bitcoin is a system. It's not just a cryptocurrency. It's actually an entire ecosystem made of a whole bunch of different components that we're about to go over right now. So the Bitcoin ecosystem is literally just like a lot of computers, thousands of computers that communicate with each other, and they validate these transactions and record them on a distributed ledger. Essentially is what they do. Now let's get a little deeper into that. So in order for these computers to be able to communicate with each other, the Bitcoin software has to be installed on each computer. And the Bitcoin software is an open source, which essentially means that anyone with this software can look at the source code. So per usual, I have the textbook definition of what a source code is, and it's going to be a set of human readable instructions written in a programming language by a programmer to create software. And the definition of open source means software is not owned by anyone or any company. It is free to use and modify. Open source software is code that is designed to be publicly accessible. This means that anyone can see it, modify it, and distribute the code. So the original code was created in 2008 by Satoshi Nakamoto, and he was the main and only maintainer of this software code. But then in 2010, he just up and abandoned the project. For many reasons. One of the main reasons was because Bitcoin was turning out to not be what he had created it for. And also something about him losing his ledger or not being able to access his ledger or something like that. I mean, it gets real sticky wicky in that vibes. But point blank period, he abandoned the Bitcoin project in 2010, and now it's in the hands of a bunch of different software developers, and they still use that core programming system. Now I know I've been talking about software this, developer this, like a lot of jibber jabber in the techie world. That's kind of foreign language for real. But let's just cut the shit and talk about what the software actually does. So this software runs the Bitcoin protocol, and protocol in this aspect essentially means a set of rules and procedures that have to be followed out and carried out by a system. In regards to the Bitcoin system, these Bitcoin protocols literally just tell the system how to operate, a list of rules and procedures on how the Bitcoin system will operate. So example of these protocols within the Bitcoin system is that Bitcoin can only have 21 million coins in circulation. So that's a protocol or a rule placed on the supply of Bitcoins. And then also another rule or procedure placed on Bitcoins is how it is validated. So how each coin is mined, how it's considered a complete transaction. There are rules that go along to that to make that solid. That makes sense. So this protocol is expressed via computer code, and this computer code is then compiled into software. So the textbook definition of compiled in this scenario is going to be the human readable computer code written by a programmer is translated into computer executable machine code. So that basically means that they're taking what can be read by humans and then transcribing it to where it's can be read by computers. Essentially. So this software is installed in thousands of computers spread out across the world, and they actually have a really cool map where you can see all the computers that actually have this Bitcoin software on it. And the computers that have this software on it are going to be called Bitcoin nodes. So the computers that have the software are going to be called nodes. So if the computer, or aka node, is connected to the internet and it runs the software, it officially becomes a part of the Bitcoin network. Now once these nodes are connected to the Bitcoin network, they then are able to share information within each other about transactions and things that happen within that network. So they're actually used to validate transactions. So I'm actually going to go over all of this in my next video for Wednesday, but I didn't want to bombard you with too much information. But to make it all kind of come together and make sense, I did want to add that these Bitcoin nodes, they're responsible for basically saying this person sent this much money to this person and then updating it on the ledger or updating it on the blockchain. So usually you would have a centralized person doing that, like a bank that would be the intermediary, be like, oh, this person sent money to this person and we're going to update it on our ledger. But since this is a decentralized system, it's a combination of all of these computers, which are just normal people like you and I, which is going to be called a peer-to-peer network, which I'm going to be going over on Wednesday. I didn't want to get too deep in it today. But the peer-to-peer network essentially is a decentralized network to where all of these computers are being used to validate these transactions. And it actually is pretty cool because even if somebody wanted to hack someone's ledger and be like, hey, I sent this much to this person, everybody can check their ledger, their computer notes and things like that, and see exactly what was sent to each person, because all those computers have to agree on a consensus of what was sent and then have to document it and record it on the ledger. So if one person's ledger doesn't match everybody else's ledger, the majority who it matches, that's going to be what goes. The person that has something totally different, they're not going to honor that, and it's going to be considered essentially fraud. So that's why they say that the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency just system in general is fraud proof, which I went over in my last video, but I don't think anything is fraud proof. I just think that like cryptocurrency is harder to commit fraud on. So let's just do a little quick recap of the things I went over in this video. It's going to be the Bitcoin protocol, the Bitcoin software, the Bitcoin nodes, and the Bitcoin network. And now I'm about to place a picture on here and explain how all of these things work together and become one. So Bitcoin is a software which runs a set of rules and instructions called the Bitcoin protocol. That's then installed on computers, which are known as Bitcoin nodes, that are physically located all over the world and communicate over the internet to share information with each other to form the Bitcoin network, which is going to be the peer-to-peer decentralized network. So I know this video had a lot to do with like the technicalities on how like the Bitcoin ecosystem works, but I thought it was important because it's like, this is not just Bitcoin that works like this. You got Ethereum, you got Solana, you got all these different coins that also do the same exact thing, just have their own fashion of doing it essentially. But I wanted to get into the technicalities of it because the more you know, the more you grow. I told y'all we're going to be learning everything about crypto, and I meant that from the bottom of my big heart. I did. I really did. But you guys, I will be here back on Wednesday to talk about the Bitcoin network, which is going to be a peer-to-peer decentralized network. And it's not going to be so technical. It's actually going to be pretty cool things to learn about and easier to understand. So bear with me, you guys. Bear with me. But on that note, I will see you guys on Wednesday, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night. And don't forget that pretty girls can do crypto too. Toodles.